dear audience and fellow Dan. Thank you for great points. And as I wouldn't completely agree with what you said, but we humans have this tendency of creating a medicine only when we see a disease. And what was the disease or the problem that the previous generations saw in the previous civilizations? That they had to come up with something like a welfare scheme, state aid and social aids. You know why? Because they have seen it during the French Revolution, during the Russian Revolution, during the World War and the independence struggle of India had and South Korea. They all faced problems. They faced pandemics and epidemics throughout their existence. And they had to come up with something to make the world prosperous together. Because the very first thing we have to mention is that it helps people to increase their employability. And secondly, they get to live better with their families and share the food with the rest of the world. And third, the most important thing, it helps us in sustainability. We look at the electric bikes on the streets. It is because the state gives 600 euros for every electric bike that is purchased in the Madrid. So it encourages people to be more sustainable and also reduce the pollution so the coming generations can live a better life. San Francisco had crime. You might have heard some countries had crime. Crime starts when there is a between the aspirations and what they really get. So now people see someone else around them not living a similar life, feeling a sense of jealousy, feeling a sense of being left out, creates a sense of pain in them, an agony, a disgust, a depression that drives them to do something wrong. Like if you watch any movies, not a single movie a villain knows he is the villain. The antagonist, the bad guy, never knows he is the bad guy until the climax. But the villain should know he is the villain only when they are kept in a good environment. Why do we say Norway, Finland, Denmark has less crime rate? Highest human development index? Because they are the evangelists and the torchbearers of such welfare schemes. And imagine they don't get the welfare scheme 70 years ago, Japan wouldn't have been the Japan we see today. South Korea was considered the poorest country 70 years ago. During 1948, if you look into the data by Bloomberg, South Korea was considered the poorest country on earth. But now, South Korea has Samsung. South Korea has K-pop, BTS, all the good things we talk about. So, it's because once upon a time they believed in welfare schemes and they still do that. If someone is underprivileged, they get the opportunity to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. So they should get that aspiration, doing good stuff for the good and be around the good ecosystem. Less inflation, for that we need more cooperation.
The inflation
In France, UK, and also in Sweden, like someone from Finland could actually work in Sweden because the ones who were once in a trouble situation, they later on got to upskill themselves using these welfare schemes that are supported by the state, so they could go beyond the world. So it's not just someone else coming to our country and increasing the mass immigration and being a dependency, but also our own people get more skilled and they can cross the borders and become better and get more exposure.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the winners of the second debate regarding social welfare, by unanimous decision of the jury, the winner of this debate is Bhanu!
Back in the day when I was a bachelor, I wasn't as good as him.